Hi, this is Scott Whimpey here from First Aid, Accident and Emergency and Team Nike Hammer. Well, I've been involved in the Kokoda Challenge now for over 7 years, and in that time I've supported the event 5 times and I've also competed in the event twice with a team called Nike Hammer. My company, First Aid, Accident and Emergency, supports this local fantastic event by providing first aid services to the Kokoda kids and all of the Kokoda volunteers. And I also come along and support the event by volunteering my time for vital community services to the event. Geez, I've seen some pretty tough injuries over the years as well, but also doing the event has given me a really good perspective on what is required for first aid, nutrition, hydration, and just the whole thing, the mental attitude. So I'm going to give you some awesome tips today on how to look after yourself and get through the event. The main topics that I'm going to look after today, it's only going to be short. I'm going to do ITB syndrome. So basically looking after that ITB syndrome, that big tendon and muscle that runs down the outside of your leg, and how to look after that. And I'm also going to look after blister prevention and also how to treat blisters during the event. Okay? So first of all, ITB syndrome, why does it happen? We train so hard for this event and we do so many walks or runs through training for the event. But all of a sudden we get to about 30 or 40 kilometres of the event, or halfway, 50 kilometres of the event, and we're just not used to being on our feet for that long. So what happens is our tendons obviously get very sore, and not necessarily from going up the hills, it's more so from coming down the hills. And each time your knee locks coming down the hill, that tendon stretches and then relaxes again, causing what's called ITB syndrome. Now that inflames where it's wrapped around your knee, and today I'm going to show you how to treat that quite cheaply and effectively, and something that works that I've developed over the last 5 to 7 years. It is fantastic. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to tape your feet prior to the event. I'm going to show you some horrible pictures of feet that haven't gone so well, that haven't been taped, and this will help you get to the finish line. Okay? And the third thing I'm going to show you is just some good basic first aid kits and some tape as well that you should really have for your team. It's a fairly minimal cost when you think about the whole overall big picture, and I'm going to help you out with that as well. So first of all, let's have a look at ITB syndrome. ITB syndrome happens when this tendon here flexes, and you can almost see it here running down the outside of my knee, flexes and releases each time you come down the hill. So here we go, I'm going to show you how to treat this. I've got some standard compression bandage, good quality compression bandage, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to wrap this around the top part of the knee. Well, the knee's just nice and relaxed. Okay, I'm going to wrap this around the top part of the knee here. Okay, just exactly like that. Alright, then from here I've got some good quality strapping tape. Okay, from here what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this directly over the top of this strapping tape, and I'm going to roll from the inside to the outside. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to push that around there. I'm going to go quite firm on that, and it does have to be quite firm. This does need to be directly on the leg, and then the skin's over the top of this. Okay, quite firm. And what that's going to do, about 3 times around the leg, what that's going to do is it's actually going to put continual pressure on that ITB. So each time it locks and releases, then this is going to keep that pressure, and it's not going to tighten and relax every time. This is pretty much guaranteed to work. It's a lot cheaper than knee straps or any other possible device, and it works perfectly well. So give this a try in your next training session. Check it out, and if you have issues with your ITB through the event, this is what you need to treat it. Now you've had a look at ITB syndrome, we're going to move on to feet. Now again, being on your feet for 20, 30 hours, and even 15 hours for some of those elite teams, there's a lot of creek crossings, there's a lot of sweat, there's a lot of moisture that builds up inside your shoes and your socks. So after probably 5, maybe 7 to 10 hours, your feet get very, very soft. And what happens is that skin starts to tear. So I'm going to give you some great techniques on how to tape your feet. It's not overly conventional, but it works absolutely perfectly. Okay, here we go. I'm going to attempt to show you how to look after your feet prior to doing the Kokoda challenge. So as you can see here, I've got 2 pieces of strapping tape. Okay, I've got one small piece that's about 8 to 10 centimetres long, and I've got one longer piece that's about 15 centimetres long. With the short piece, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this directly over the end of the toe, just fairly loosely you want to put it on. Okay, so that just folds straight over the end of the toe like that. Okay, then from here, I'm just going to bend these pieces down and just mould them into place. Okay, so that covers the end of the toe this way. The second piece of strapping tape I'm going to take, and I'm going to wrap this around the toe the other way. So I'm just going to gently mould this onto the toe. Okay, go all the way around the toe like this, and pretty much just neaten it straight back up. So as you can see, that's one toe that's been completely taped and is ready to go. I would do that with every single individual toe before you put your socks on. Strapping the balls of your feet is also pretty important under these areas here, because obviously you're going to get some blisters under these areas here. So it's important to make sure that you strap that. Now, a big mistake that a lot of people make when they strap the balls of their feet is they don't bring the tape all the way around the whole foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece, I'm going to put that under the ball of my foot in about the right place that I think is good, and then I'm going to wrap that all the way around. Okay? So that basically there, rip that neatly, okay? And that there is one piece for the ball of my foot, you can see. And then the second piece, I'm going to go about a third, and I'm also going to go all the way around. Now it's important to remember, guys, with this tape, that you don't put it on too tight. Now initially when you put this tape on, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with some of these little pieces here like this, and they'll mould down. My suggestion is you put this tape on the night before the event. It will handle showers. Ideally have a shower and then put it on so you can sleep with it. And this tape will actually start to heat mould. So in the morning when you get up and walk around, you can just trim any little bits and pieces with a nice pair of scissors, and that will help to sort any lumps and bumps. So you can see I've got pretty good strapping on the bottom part of my foot there, okay? And I've also strapped one toe, but I'd strap every toe. The heel of the foot I would do exactly the same with as well. So what I'd do with the heel of the foot is I'd pretty much just go around that heel area, okay, up on each side, okay, like that. So a couple that way like that, and then I would also put a couple around the back part of the foot as well, okay? And basically what this is going to do is it's going to just help with any additional blisters or softening of the feet. I'd almost get to a point where I cover probably the majority of the foot with tape. So if I've got a little patch there that's exposed, I'll put this over, okay? And I'll have it sitting there like that, alright? You can sometimes lock this out. If you want to bring these heel straps up a little bit higher, you can lock them out, but it's important to remember that you don't want this too tight, because if you do it too tight, then what's going to happen is when your foot swells through the event, which it will swell, then what will actually happen is this will give you a bit of grief, okay? So have some of this strapping tape on hand ready to go, and this is how you strap your feet for the Kokoda Challenge. Here's some pictures of feet from the 2013 Kokoda Challenge. It gets pretty nasty out there, so make sure you get this tape right. Okay, here's my final couple of tips for your team. Alright, so when you're out there on the track, you really do need to make sure that you've got some good quality tape that can look after both ITB and also taping feet, plus any chafing or any additional things that you might require it for. So I'm recommending the Strap It tape, which I'm going to be selling at the event, and I'm going to be selling at the briefing nights as well. It's $10 a roll, and $10 will do your entire team for ITB and also feet and toe strapping for blister prevention. So this is basically a must for your first aid kit. The second thing I'm going to recommend is this little You Need It first aid kit that we sell. It's First Aid Accident Emergency brand, and it's got everything in there for treatment of bleeding. You've got a little bit of blister prevention, and you've just got the basic essentials for wound cleaning, and there's a set of gloves in there and a few other bits and pieces. Now, as a requirement for the Kokoda Challenge this year, they're asking that you do have a first aid kit, at least one for the team, and they will be checking this at the start as well. So make sure you get one of these great first aid kits. They're going to be $10 as well. So you'll save yourself a packet on first aid and taping. Brought to you by First Aid Accident Emergency, Scott Whimpey, Team Nike Hammer. Check us out at www.faae.com.au. Thanks for watching.